Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In this one, I just wanted to briefly share a lesson that I've learned in my entrepreneurial journey and my life journey that I think is crucial to implement if you want to arrive at a desired outcome that you've set in stone, you've got it as a goal. And that's really the power of, I don't like the word visualization because with it comes a bunch of these overly spiritual, gurus that don't really know what they're talking about. But just the power of seeing something in your mind and being able to create it after you can make a case to yourself as to why you're able to do it. So there's really two directions that you can be heading at any given time. Either realizing something that you want and then putting in the work and then proving to yourself by little daily inputs that you're able to realize the goal that you have or the standard that you want to create or the outcome that you want to create, whether it's in business, personal life, fitness, whatever. Or you are doubting yourself and then you are behaving in such a way that reinforces that doubt, which then creates more doubt, and then it's just a spiral. And I meet people who are at that level and they stay at that level their entire life, where they just doubt themselves and they doubt their ability to execute, they doubt their ability to grow, they doubt their ability to, affect change in their life and in their business. And this is a problem, right? This is a problem with our culture. This is a problem in our community inside of our coaching programs, even inside of the help that we give to our clients. And I've seen that if I can just do one thing for somebody, if I can just get them pointing this force in the right direction of, looking for proof of their ability to succeed, which then causes them to succeed. It's almost a phrase that I've heard said is confirmation bias. If I can help them, use confirmation bias to their own power or to their own side, or get confirmation bias on their own side, then they'll succeed much further. So what is confirmation bias and what role does it play in your business? Well, I'll essentially explain it with this. When you believe something to be true, you look for evidence of that thing being true. If you believe something to be false, you look for evidence of that thing being false. So basically, whatever you believe, you're going to be finding evidence for, and then you're going to end up enacting or almost creating the thing that you believe is true. Carl Jung has a really good quote, and he says, it doesn't matter what is true. It doesn't matter what, the data even says. It just matters what we believe is true, because we're going to then create that. Societies operate on beliefs. Money exists purely because we believe it to be valuable. Relationships exist because we believe we can trust the other person. And none of these beliefs, are therefore invalid just because they're beliefs. A lot of things are really valuable, and even though they are just concepts, even though we just believe them. But one way that you can use this is, really asking, why is there such a divide between where I am and where I want to be? And often that divide exists because you believe it's supposed to exist, not because it actually exists. And so if you can overcome that loop, and if you understand that your belief is often the main thing holding you back from becoming what it is that you want to become and doing what you want to do and having the impact you want to have and making the money you want to make and having the relationships that you want to have, that's really what's going to spur you on. And I actually, this video is inspired by, I have moments of weakness, right? Like, entrepreneurship is not easy. I posted on my story on Instagram recently, I said, entrepreneurship is extremely hard. Like, it can be isolating, lonely, defeating. And then somebody responds to this, and at first I got angry. My immediate response was to get defensive. But he responds, he says, Trey, I think this is just a false belief. I don't think it's actually supposed to be that hard. I think you've just made it hard because maybe, you grew up being told that it would be hard, or, maybe when you first got started it was hard, but it doesn't have to be hard. And then I got to thinking, how many entrepreneurs do I know that are actually genuinely happy people with happy lives, happy relationships, good health, abundance in their heart, and that live, genuinely satisfactory lives? And I started to think of a lot of people that I've met where I can see that. I can see that they're producers. Maybe they're not specifically entrepreneurs, but they're leaders and they're creators and they're people of influence that have a genuinely happy life. And so I was like, well, why can't I be one? Why can't I do that? And so the area where I'm learning to overcome, and this is my next struggle as a person, not just as an entrepreneur, but is being able to have, I'll tell it this way. My New Year's quote, resolution. I'm not a huge fan of resolutions, but I did do one this year. It's to enjoy my work more. It's to enjoy this process more. It's to not see it as laborious, because often you can fall into this pattern where you see it as laborious and frustrating, and then it becomes laborious and frustrating, and then you don't succeed because you don't like it. When Michael Jordan was asked what's his biggest secret, for succeeding in basketball and being such a great player, he said you have to fall in love with the game. You have to fall in love with it. So that's my New Year's resolution. So by falling in love with this thing, and by being excited about what it's going to become, instead of being frustrated with it and wanting it to be in a better place and being, a little bit thrown off my game because things aren't going exactly how I want them to go or whatever, or comparing myself to other people, instead of that, I'm going to activate confirmation bias by saying, here's where I want to get, and I can get there. And I can make a great case for why I can get there because I can see other people that are like me that have done it. And I can see their story, and I see what they've been able to do. And so I'm going to use confirmation bias to pull me forward. So even at my level, even when we're only 4 days into the month and we've already done $20,000 this month, which is insane to me. And here's proof, by the way. So that's 14,500 collected, and we have another 7,500 coming this week from payments that we've collected in my business. So we've already done $20,000, 14,500 if you're being super technical, but I'm just going to say 20 because we've got those payments contracted in and they're coming. So 4 days into the year, $20,000. If I'd told myself 3 years ago I'd been able to do that, I would have never believed it. But now that I have confirmed that I can do it, I'm seeing that it's possible, and more than likely, the start of next year, we're going to do exactly the same thing at a minimum. Because once you see yourself achieve a certain outcome that you desire, you start looking for proof that you can do it, and then you recreate it over and over again. It's that cycle. So if you find yourself stuck, and if you see yourself comparing to others and being frustrated that you're not where you want to be, and you see this huge chasm between, or chasm, however you say that word, chasm between where you are and where you want to get, and you see it as just this long, horrible, horrendous process you have to go through, stop seeing it like that. See it as, I can't wait to get to work on this because it's going to be extremely fulfilling every single day. And by putting in the work every single day, I'm going to move the needle, which is going to be satisfactory to me, and I'm going to enjoy it. And, if Trey can do it, I can do it. If this guy can do it, I can do it, because, frankly, we're all human, and we all have the exact same brain and the exact same body, in most cases. Very few people have a true limit. And once you relieve yourself of that limit, once you let go of that limit, you don't overcome it. You don't grow out of it. You just let go of it. You just decide that it's not going to be in your head anymore. That's when, reality actually starts to play in your life. That's when the results that you can create start to become real in your life. It's when you let go of those things. We're born, I'm a Christian. I don't know how many of you know this about me. And one of the benefits of a Judeo-Christian worldview is you view humans as being born into sin. So inherently, we're born broken. There's another worldview that says children are the most precious thing, and, babies are pure, but really I have the opposite. I think people are born stupid and sinful and selfish and need to be slowly over time sort of carved into who they're supposed to be painfully and slowly with life experience and lessons and discipline. And that's my belief. And the benefit of that belief is seeing that, there are things in me that I have to learn to let go if I want to become who I'm supposed to be. And one of the things that I urge you to let go of is the idea that who you are can't become who you want to be for whatever reason. One of the things I used to deal with is I'm short, or I'm, quote, short. I know people that are shorter than me, but growing up, I always felt short. I was the shortest of my friends. I was the shortest whenever I'd play a game, like sports or anything, basketball, anything like that. I'm 5'8", and when I got my driver's license, it said 110 pounds. Now I weigh about 130, so I put on 20 pounds, mostly just working out and eating more. I want to weigh 150 by the time I'm 25, just a goal. I don't know. I think it's cool. But that was one of my false beliefs. I'm short. People don't take me seriously. I'm kind of just a joke to a lot of people. And because I thought that, I actually lived it out. You'll find that what you think about yourself, you tend to live out because of confirmation bias. Because you're looking for proof that people see you as a joke, you're going to believe that you're a joke and then act like a joke. And so now I've changed my image. My image is no longer I'm a joke and I'm short. It's I'm an extremely successful business person. And if people aren't listening to my help and implementing what I tell them to do, they're missing out because I've figured it out. And I'm on track to be a multimillionaire by the time I'm 30 at the latest. And we're going to do $1 million this year if the year goes right. So I've fixed the image in my head that I have of myself, and I'm acting it out. And one of the hacks that you can implement, and I'll end the video here in a moment, is telling yourself these things, hearing these things said. Have a vision board, have some affirmations, say these things to yourself, because your last line of defense is your words. Because in the moment, you can control your words. You control what you say. So when you notice yourself saying, oh, I'm stupid, or oh, I'm just acting stupid again, aren't I? Or, oh, this is totally me, forgetting this appointment, or dropping my phone and cracking it. That's, that was one for me. Like, I dropped it. I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. I was like, I caught myself because I cracked my phone. And I remember saying that, I'm an idiot, and now I shouldn't have said that because I'm not an idiot. I'm a really smart guy, and I've figured a lot out, and I'm able to apply myself and create incredible things, and so are you, as long as you let confirmation bias work for you. So this is just one of those videos that isn't quite so technical inside of the business, but I'll be honest, this is the stuff that really matters. And when people join our programs, they get my help, or when they join a program of our caliber, they'll often notice that a lot of the conversations, or a lot of the kind of the subtleties of the conversations, the sort of underlying theme is, you are where you are because you've put yourself there, and I want to help you decide to put yourself somewhere else. It's not that any environmental issues have come onto you and have hurt you. It's not that your parents wronged you, or your friends, or your environment, or your school, or your neighborhood, or your country, or taxes, or the politicians, or anything like that. You are where you are because you've chosen to be there. And you can choose to be somewhere else consciously and decide that you want to arrive somewhere else and get excited about that somewhere else and start looking for proof that you can do it. So once you decide you're going to do something, more than often, you're going to start to look for proof that you're capable of doing it. Once you commit to yourself and follow through just in small ways, like you decide you want to lose 50 pounds, and then one day you don't eat, crap, you eat really well, and you go to the gym that day. You're like, wow, I can do that. I could do that again if I wanted to. So then you do it again. And then you do it again and again and again, because now you're starting to see the pattern form, and there's a habit now, and it plays out into the future, and you start to get results. So nothing comes quickly, but if you can envision something in your mind and you see it out in the future, you can often create that thing, because you're going to start to look for proof that that thing can become. So that's my advice to you today. Envision yourself in a certain point and start looking for proof that you can arrive at that certain point. And more often than not, you're more likely to arrive at that point than you ever thought possible. And hopefully this video has been valuable to you. See you in the next one.